Well, welcome to our call today, our webinar. My name is Tamara Herl, and I'm CEO of Wild Divine Coaching and Retreats. And my mission is really supporting visionary women who see things around them in the world that aren't working, and they really feel compelled to change the things that aren't working. And I'm really working to create a movement of women who are working together so that we can support each other in our mission of changing the things in the world that aren't working. And as part of this process, I've created this Be the Change webinar, Conversations with Visionary Women. And today I'm really excited to have our special guest, Lisa Chapman. And Lisa is the owner of the Celestial Salt Metaphysical and Healing Center in Colorado Springs. And Lisa has been claircognizant, clear knowing for as long as she can remember. She would occasionally have visions and premonitions, but in June 2018, she had a premonition that she would be in a bad car accident, which actually happened within 2 weeks or a couple of weeks of her having that vision. The car accident created head trauma that actually caused the visions that Lisa was having to become more clear. And now she uses this information to tune into people's energy when she's working with them. She combines her angel card readings and Reiki sessions to help her clients, and she incorporates other helpful tools like crystals and singing bowls. Lisa was born in the UK, but moved to America in 2007. And her wish for Celestial Salt is to provide a place for people to receive holistic and metaphysical services and to provide a sense of community. So welcome, Lisa. We are so excited that you joined us today.
Thank you for inviting me on, Tamara. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
You're so welcome. So tell us a little bit about how, I know, that you own this beautiful store, which I was lucky enough to be able to visit a few weeks ago. How did why did you decide to open a metaphysical store? How did that unfold for you?
It was kind of not me, right? It came through me, not to me, if you like. So I had this vision several years ago. I used to drive for Uber, and I was kind of tired of doing that. And I was like, so what can I do where I feel I'm actually doing something of service to humans that isn't so detrimental and exhausting on my physical being, right? So I decided, I'm going to get back into doing readings, like do angel card readings, and then I was guided to do Reiki. So I did that. And then after I did all that, I discovered in Florida, you actually have to have a touch license, because that was where I was living at the time. So I was like, oh. And then we got guided to move to Colorado, which we did. And luckily there was no touch license requirements here. And my plan initially was just to open a little office with me just doing Reiki and readings. And then I had the car accident, and it just kept saying, go bigger, do bigger. You do need to do more. It needs to be more community oriented, not just for the community, but community of practitioners providing to the community. And bit by bit, it just expanded, right?
Nice. I love that. And I love that you listened to the call to go bigger, because I think a lot of times we don't listen to that, and we just, stay smaller. And I think it's important to listen to the universe when we get those promptings, because if we don't listen, then the promptings can get louder and stronger. So I'm grateful that you listened. So in the process of opening your store and building this, it's more than just a store, though, because you have the practitioners in there as well. So it's it feels like a center, like a healing center to me. And I'm wondering, what were some of the biggest challenges that you faced in creating this center, and how you overcame those challenges?
One of them was finding the right space, because I had this thing in my head on how it needed to look. I didn't want to go in and have a reception desk and a big open room with rooms all off it. I wanted it to feel more nuanced, more private in sections. So I like the fact that this space is split into 3 different hallways. Even though the noise does carry a little bit down the hallways, it just feels nice that you go pottering off down a hallway to a room for this. You go this way for one salt therapy, you go this way for a practitioner, different way for the little event room. And I wanted that space as well to be able to do small events, which we do, cacao ceremonies and sound healing and different classes as well. So finding the space was a real challenge for sure. And it took probably 8 months to actually find this and get it all sorted with the whole negotiations with the landlord back and forth. So that was probably the biggest challenge.
Great. Well, I'm glad that you found the space. It's a beautiful space. It feels like an adventure. When I went in there, it felt like an adventure because first I saw the store and I was like a kid in a candy store with all the beautiful things that you have for sale. And then you took me down one hallway and it just felt like there was more and more. It felt like I was in a mysterious building that just, it was like an adventure to explore and find the different rooms. And the treatment rooms are so beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
I also wanted to create this space. I mean, after my car accident, I had to have a lot of therapy because I had several significant injuries. And some of it was, physical therapy. I had a brain injury, so I had to have stuff for that. But also part of it was going for massage and stuff like that. And some of the places that I was going, I was like, I don't want to get almost naked in here. It's like uncomfortable, it's loud, it feels stark, it just doesn't feel welcoming. And, I wanted to create a space that when somebody comes here and gets semi-naked, that they feel comfortable doing that, right?
Right. And I think that's so important. I think that's a huge lesson for a visionary woman that's wanting to create anything, is to think about what your clients want. So you experienced that and you thought, I don't want that.
Yeah.
And I do want this.
Cozy and comfortable, right? Safe. I wanted safe.
Nice. Well, you definitely have created that ambiance there.
Thank you.
I'm curious how you see your vision unfolding and expanding in the future.
Well, at the moment, I do a lot of the stuff out front. I do all the Facebook myself. I do all the website myself. My son helps, but he actually will be leaving. He's moving back to England pretty soon. So I will be having, a couple of people who do come in and help me. Penelope is one of them. So it will be attracting people around who are building their business, but may want to come and do a day or so here. So that I've got all this interaction with people who offer services here are also here more, right? So that then helps them build their businesses. So I want people to facilitate this place to attract clients for themselves as well, like to build their own businesses in here. And at some stage, I'd like to be more doing what I do as well in my office, rather than just being out the front doing sales, even though that's fun and I love talking to people. I also need to do this side of it because it's what feeds my soul. So eventually, I want people running the store part, somebody running all the nitty gritty of doing all the Facebook, the meetup and all that stuff. And then it all just flowing really well, where everybody is supporting everybody, right?
Nice. I love that. And I think that's so important. And it's what visionary women sometimes forget, is that, we think we have to do it all. And so we do. But you made an important point, when you get other people to do some of the things that can be done by other people, then it frees up more time for you to do what feeds your soul, and also to do the things that only you can do. Because, everybody that's part of your center has different gifts, but you're the only one who does the unique things that you do in the way that you do them. So that's beautiful that you've recognized that.
Yeah, and I enjoy doing it. It's I feel when I've had a session with a client, I feel like really fulfilled afterwards, that we've shared information that's come through that can be beneficial for them, giving them some clarity or guidance, or, you know, just a little something. And also, it's amazing how many people leave here and I feel like they feel loved, because that's where I want them to feel. You know, I want them to feel that this hour and a half was purely their time, you know.
Beautiful. And I'm sure they do.
Hopefully.
Yeah, wonderful. Yeah, I noticed the other day I was doing some recording, and I recorded some I made some videos before I did a retreat, and then I did the retreat, and I was so inspired by what happened, and I made one more video afterwards, and this was about something different. But I could not believe when I looked at how different I looked after the retreat. I didn't even look like myself. I was like, who is that? So it really does make a difference, I think, when we do what feeds our soul. It just, you know, it just lights us up.
Yeah, it does. I think it makes you glow, right, when you've done something
Exactly.
like that. So,
Exactly.
yeah.
Definitely. So I'm curious, you know, if for the other visionary women that are watching later or watching today, by the way, welcome, Suzanne. If for people that see something around them in the world that needs changing, but maybe they feel like it's too big, the change that they want to make, it feels too big, or maybe they have blocks inside of themselves, what would you suggest that could help someone who's getting started with their visionary work? What would you suggest that they try or do?
The first thing I would say is, I'm not good at meditation, but whatever it is they need to do, whether it's a walking meditation, for me, it's painting. I do acrylic paint pouring. So often for me, I get some of my really good ideas when I'm there, because I'm in that different brain state. So I'm allowing information to come in. And sometimes then I'll ponder on it. And then during the night, I'll have a brilliant idea. I'm often waking up at 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning going, oh my God, this, like, that's how I got the name for the business. So it's make allowances for space where they can get clearer on what they don't want, so they can get clear on what they do want. Believe in yourself, and crucially, put people around you who believe in you, who are supportive as well. And if there's people around you who are naysayers or negative, get rid of them. Don't engage with them. It's their opinion. It could be their nonsense that's having them having that opinion. But if you've got a big dream and you don't feel like it's something that you can do necessarily, do bits of it, believe in it. It wouldn't be put inside of you if it wasn't meant for you to do it. You know, the whole Wayne Dyer thing of don't die with your music inside of you. I think that's really important, because I've probably been putting this off for several years to do this, and knowing I should be doing something bigger, but didn't know where the money was going to come from it. Did I anticipate having a car accident and getting a settlement to be able to do this? No, I didn't. But that's how it worked out, and that's how it manifested. And it's allowing also for it to come to you in a different way to what you can vision. Don't be so structured on the how, like Mike Dooley always says, forget the cursed hows. Do the what and the why, and the why is the most powerful. Why do you want something, and does that why light you up? So just don't let anybody sway you from your goals and your dreams.
Beautiful, beautiful words of advice. Yeah, and I think letting go of the how is very important. I'm so glad that you were able to do that. And, you know, instead of cursing that car accident and saying, why me? Why did this happen to me? What, you know, and there might be moments of going through that when something challenging, something really hard like that happens. But I'm glad you were able to find the silver lining, as they say.
It was kind of weird, because the few weeks before I had the accident and I had the dream, I had this big sense of presence of Archangel Michael. This might sound nuts to some people listening to this, but Archangel Michael was right, you're going to have this accident, but it's all going to be okay, and it's going to work out for the best. And I'm like, how I don't understand. I don't feel me having a car accident is a good way to go at all. And especially being it put me out of action for like 3 years with the recovery from the accident, because I had to have hip surgery and brain injury and all this other stuff. It was quite a thing, but it has helped me appreciate, accept, and look at things very differently from the process of it. And I am so very grateful that my gifts have come back through. You know, my connection to spirit is way stronger than it was, because I was too busy running in the rat race world. You know, got to make money, got to do this, got to do the other. Well, I was taken out of that game because I couldn't. So as crazy as that all seemed, even though it wasn't fun, I knew it was going to be okay somewhere, somehow down the line, right?
Yeah. 3 years is a long time
Mm-hmm.
to be. Yeah. Well, I'm glad that you had the patience and persistence to to work through that, so that you could bring forth this beautiful vision that you have created.
Yeah, I would never class myself as patient. Stubborn, most definitely. I'm pretty stubborn. When I get a thing in my head, that's it. I'm going to mither it to death, right? I'm like a dog with a bone sometimes. So. But from that, patience comes, because if you want a particular thing, you have to roll with the punches. You have to go with the ups and the downs, and you have to keep clearing out the stuff that's not serving, to keep getting clear on where you're going, right?
Definitely. So I'm curious if you have any special upcoming events that you'd like to share.
Oh, we always have lots of things that are going on that are fun. All our events are on our website. I also post them on the Facebook and on Meetup usually. But quarterly we do a psychic fair, and our next one is April 29th. But in between all that, like monthly, we do a cacao ceremony, which is with Penelope, and it's wonderful. We have sound healing, 2 different types. We have the ones with the quartz bowls with Jen, and with the metal, with the vibrational sound with Laura. And we have Nancy does several classes, one of our readers. She does psychic, she does tarot classes, astrology classes and stuff like that. She's even got a class coming up for teens, because there's lots of teens that want to get into this type of stuff, and we need a safe space for them to do that. So we've got that coming up. We've got psychic development classes with Julie and Sean. We have numerology coming up. So we have lots of things. And also want to shout out a little bit to the people who provide their services through here. We've got a guy called Cameron starting doing massage soon. Melissa comes here and does biosin scans. Sonia does Reiki here. Penelope's going to do Reiki here. And we've got other people coming as well. So it's just so lovely having this little community of people coming in and doing their thing in this space, right?
Beautiful. Lots of beautiful offerings. Definitely. And so what is your website, so that people can go there?
www.celestialsaltllc.com.
Wonderful. And would you also like to provide an email address if people want to contact you that way?
Yep, certainly. It is celestialsaltllc2@gmail.com.
Wonderful.
The number 2, not the word.
Number 2. Okay, awesome. Beautiful. That's great. So before I open it up for question and answer, do you have anything else that you would like to share that I haven't asked you about?
It's just really, if people are looking to build their business as well, and they're not too sure how to start, where to start and all that, this is a good space for that, because we do rentals by, you can just do 90 minutes, you can do a half a day, you can do a whole day. And then if people are doing it like somebody booked every Friday and they wanted to pay ahead, we do price breaks on that type of stuff. So it's people who want to be involved in a space that is community driven and supportive. We're always looking for people to come join us here. And I will be honest, I am particular about who works out of here. I've had a couple of people who have come and their energy just really didn't gel well for whatever reason. And I've said, sorry, we're not a good fit. I am very honest. I'm kind of brutal sometimes, but I think that's the fairest way to go. I try and be nice about it, but sometimes I say, I'm sorry, this isn't working, The same with all of our readers. They all have an interview. They all have to seem like they will fit in here with the other readers, because again, that in itself is a community as well. So it's just telling people that we're here and what we do and what we offer and how we can support other people in their ventures as well.
Great. Wonderful. That sounds like that would be crucial to have people who are a good fit that match the ambiance and the experience that you're creating.
Yes, exactly. It's the being simpatico, right?
Exactly. Wonderful. Well, thank you for sharing that. So I am going to invite Suzanne, if you want to take yourself off of mute in case you have any questions that you would like to ask.
Okay. Hi, Lisa. I found really interesting a statement that you made that was make space to be certain of what you don't want. And I was wondering if you could give some examples from your life, or Tamara, if you have some, how did you do that? Was this a process that you used, or, how did you go about finding out what you didn't want? How are you sure about that? And then kind of narrowing it down.
Yeah, it's a process with anything that I ever do, right? So for example, I have to move house soon because my son's moving back to England, right? So I know what I don't want. I don't want to share a house with lots of other people. I don't mind one other. I prefer no cats because I'm slightly allergic, even though it wouldn't be a total deal breaker. I certainly couldn't share a house with somebody who smoked, vaped, did drugs, or was an alcoholic, right? So these are all on my no list. Once I've got really clear on my no list, I'll go, okay, what's the opposite to that? So for the smoking, vaping, alcohol, the opposite to that for me is somebody who is health conscious and looks after their body, because somebody who's health conscious and looks after their body won't do the other things, right? So I then start to visualize myself, okay, I have my own room with my own bathroom. It feels really private. I have access whenever I want to. The person may have a dog, but the person is also into what I want. So I don't want somebody who is atheist, agnostic, or a complete strict Christian either, because this what I do doesn't fit in the grounds of what they think, right? So getting clear on those things that don't work for me gets me clear on stuff that does work. Also, I have misophonia, so I have to be really clear that when I go and look at the space, the neighbor or the person doesn't have wind chimes. There's not a basketball thingy right outside my window, because that will just send me nuts, right? It's not on a busy main road. It's that type of stuff. Is like, what does not work for me, what does not bring me joy, what does not keep me happy, what is going to cause any form of upset or aggravation. That's in my no list, right?
Okay, thanks. Another question I had, you said that you're a claircognizant, which is not something I had ever heard of before. And so that's one of the reasons when Tamara sent this out, I was like, this is fascinating. So what is that, and how did you know this? I mean, I guess if you're claircognizant, you would just know, but nevertheless, how did you come around to understanding this and being able to work with it?
Well, funnily enough, I didn't know. I didn't know what it was that I did. I didn't know that I'd had it all my life as well. So I know when I was really tiny, I remember even when I was young, I would just know stuff. I didn't know how I knew it, but just stuff would just suddenly appear in my head. I could have a conversation with somebody about something I knew nothing about, right? And then after they'd go away, I'd be like, I don't even know how I had that conversation, right? It was like this weird thing. And then it would be always like, I felt like I could finish somebody's sentence, not that I necessarily would. When I was married to my first husband, it was always like, he'd pick the phone up to call me and I'd be calling him. It was like all those silly little things. It was just stuff I knew. And it was even like when my mum got diagnosed with cancer the second time, I just knew it had happened. I knew when my sister-in-law was pregnant. It was just all silly stuff like that. And it was only probably about 8 or 9 years ago, I actually went into a metaphysical store myself in Florida. And I went in for a reading, and the girl's like, well, of course you do all this. You're an empath and you're claircognizant. I'm like, and what now? And she's like, clear knowing, you just know stuff. I'm like, I do. And it was just, so then I started looking it up. What are the clairs? So now I have got most of the clairs. Some are stronger than the other. So the claircognizant, clairvoyant, clairalliance, clairaudience, clairgustant is taste. And I taste and smell a lot of things that will come in for other people. It's kind of weird, but yeah, claircognizance was probably my main one for a long time.
So do you find that a lot of people who are the different clairs, they have more than one ability, or they can develop more than one?
Yeah, you can develop more than one for sure.
Interesting.
Yeah, and I mean, I thought I wasn't clairaudient until I did a mediumship course recently, and the lady said, well, of course, you know, if you hear a song in your head, that's clairaudience. And I'm like, huh, that's so cool. I didn't, and I know I'd been doing it because I'd had clients where I had a lady on the table one day, and I get that song come into my head. You can't always get what you want, but sometimes you get what you need. So I say this to her, and she's like, oh, that's so relatable at the moment, right? And then I started noticing that I was getting all these different songs in my head, and there it was the story I was needing to tell the client. So I didn't know that was clairaudience until somebody clarified that for me. So it's funny.
That's interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
And just one other thing, where is your store located? Where is your business located?
I'm actually in the Briargate area of Colorado Springs, and our crossroads are Union and Briargate Boulevard, not Parkway.
Okay.
So we're in the Rampart Village Shopping Center.
Okay. Okay. Well, thank you. I can't think of anything else right now. This has been really interesting.
Thank you.
Well, Suzanne, thank you for all of those questions. They were excellent questions, and I'm sure other people that will be listening to the replay will benefit from hearing the answers that Lisa gave. So I just want to say thank you both so much for carving time out of your day to show up, because I know that there are other things that you can do and could be doing. I think it's really important that we gather together and share our knowledge and skills, and together we can create so much more than we could create just independently and on our own. And I invite both of you who are listening, you know, Lisa, if you want to come back and be a guest another time, Suzanne, if you want to share your story, anyone who's listening, I invite you to share your story and be part of the movement of visionary women who are going to help humanity transform itself and the things that aren't working. I have a really awesome group in Facebook called Spiritually Anchored Visionary Women, and I invite you to join that. And so without further ado, I think we'll go ahead and end the call. And again, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me. I really
Thank
appreciate
you.
it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you.